Welcome to the Betting Pros PGA podcast. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice, joined by Bo McBrayer. We are down to the final event of the PGA Tour season, the Tour Championship. Not a big deal, just a $40 million purse to be divided among 30 players, with the winner getting $10 million. We'll get to the Tour Championship lickety-split, but first, a brief recap of last week's BMW Championship. Scottie Scheffler wins the BMW. Scottie trailed Robert MacIntyre by 4 shots going into the final round, but Scheffler closed the gap quickly. In fact, he was in the lead by the time he made the turn. Scheffler was 2 under for his first 9 holes. MacIntyre was 3 over on the front 9. But Scheffler's win was still in doubt until he reached the par 3 17th hole on Sunday. Scottie's normally superb ball striking was a little off at times on the back 9, and his tee shot on the 17th missed the green long and left. But then Scheffler chipped in from about 82 feet, clutch shot from a clutch player. Scottie then made a routine par in the 18th for a 2-shot win over MacIntyre. Maverick McNeely shot a bogey-free 66 on Sunday to finish solo third. Sam Burns and Tommy Fleetwood tied for fourth. Bo, any takeaways from the BMW Championship?
Yeah, I was just waiting for that other shoe to drop with the opening couple of rounds that Robert MacIntyre had. We were thinking, okay, Scottie's there, but if Bobby Mack keeps playing like this, then he's obviously going to win. He played that well for 3 rounds and then got off to a disastrous start on Sunday. And that 4-shot lead was gone by the 5th hole. That's golf for you. And you have the best player in the world paired up with you on Sunday. The pressure is sweltering. I can't even imagine. And then, of course, you mentioned the chip in on 17, which was one of the best holdouts of Scottie's career, which is remarkable in itself. This guy holds out from all over the place, from the fairway, from the rough. This was a very tricky, straight downhill chip from the primary rough. He had to land it in a certain spot and let it roll all the way down that hill. And much like Tiger Woods at 16 at Augusta back in, 2009, just trickled right over the edge, dead center, like he walked up there and dropped it in, like he cue-sticked it from a foot away. That's just, it's amazing. This guy's amazing. He's just one of the best ever. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch golf look that easy in a place that ironically was not nearly as easy as we thought it would be, because they completely redid that golf course, apparently lengthening it and taking away 2 of the par shots. Made it extremely difficult, especially since they remodeled all the greens. I didn't know that. I thought they were going same old, just a par 70, and that place had some teeth. The greens had a lot more slope to them, and as we did say last week, the harder, if it ends up being tougher with the new parameters of that golf course for the BMW at Caves Valley, if it gets tougher, Scottie's going to be really hard to beat, because his advantage comes when the courses get tougher. It's like you want to Tiger-proof or Scottie-proof these courses. Just make them easier so everybody's putting up birdies. And that's, we got a tougher golf course challenge, and we got another tough one coming up this week for the Tour Championship. East Lake is no joke.
It is not. Bo, did you adhere to your strategy of live betting Scottie? Did you plunk a bet down on Scottie at any point?
I didn't get a chance. Even when I think he was 7 shots back, he was still at plus 450, which wasn't good enough. And that was the longest I saw him all week. Even when he was 4 shots back entering Sunday, and he was plus 180.
Oh man, the books know better than to give us a nice price.
If he's within a hole. If he's within screaming distance, they're not going to give you any juice there. There's no value.
Yeah, I know. We'll get to the betting preview for the Tour Championship in just a moment, but first,
download the free BettingPros app for iOS and Android. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Create your own custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get your own 7-day free trial of BettingPros Premium by downloading the app at bettingpros.com/apps using code JUICE and activating your trial on the upgrade screen.
So the FedEx Cup playoffs began with 70 players. The field was trimmed to 50 for the BMW, and now it's down to 30 for the Tour Championship. With such a small field, this will be a no-cut event. Everyone plays 4 rounds. The big change at the Tour Championship is the elimination of the starting strokes system. The Tour used to slot the players based on how many FedEx Cup points they had accumulated. The leading points earner started at 10 under par. The number 2 points earner started at 8 under par, so on, all the way down to even par for the last of the qualifying players with the fewest points. The format was meant to reward players for strong season-long performances, but it often made for an anticlimactic Tour Championship. Now all 30 players are starting at level par, which means betting the Tour Championship is going to be more straightforward. The Tour Championship will once again be played at East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta. It's a Donald Ross design. After playing as a par 71 last year, East Lake will play as a par 70, measuring 7,440 yards. The fairways at East Lake are narrow. The rough at East Lake can be rather penal. The Bermuda greens there are small. This is a tough test, as you alluded to, Bo. The Tour Championship probably is not going to be a birdie fest, even if we get benign conditions. Scottie Scheffler won last year's Tour Championship. He was 20 under par, not counting his 10-stroke starting advantage. Viktor Hovland won here in 2023. He was 19 under, minus the starting strokes. Rory McIlroy won the Tour Championship in 2022. He was 17 under for his 4 rounds, and Patrick Cantlay won this event in 2021. He was 11 under par and needed his 10-shot head start that year. But again, there will be no starting strokes this year. Everyone is even par to begin the tournament. Bo, give me your take on East Lake Golf Club and what it's going to take to win the Tour Championship.
It's one of the best golf courses on tour for a fair test of ball striking, especially. I do see rain in the forecast all 4 days so far for Atlanta, which is probably just passing thunderstorms. But if this place softens up, it's going to be tougher on if you miss the fairway, because Bermuda rough gets really nasty when it's wet, because the ball just sits down at the ground level, and you're dealing with a bunch of grass in between your club face and the ball. And if the ball's wet, it's even crazier. You don't know where the ball's going to go. At the same time, the greens get more receptive. They are very small Bermuda greens that tend to run really fast, but if they're grabbing golf balls on approach, then it gets exponentially easier to score. So I think either way, you're going to get a score around 12 to 17 under par for the winner. It's going to come down to who's the most accurate off the tee and who sticks it close on these tiny greens. There's only one guy I can really think of that I would have a lot of confidence in doing that regardless of conditions, and he's right at the top of the board.
Yes, he is. And glad you mentioned the weather. Yes, scattered thunderstorms Friday and Saturday, PM thunderstorms on Thursday, dry forecast on Sunday, but who knows? Light winds throughout the tournament. We will get to the odds in just a moment, right after a word about our sponsor, Novig.
Are you looking for a smarter way to play? There's a new sports trading platform that's changing the game. It's called Novig. It's legal in most states, including Georgia, California, and Texas. It's peer-to-peer, which means you're competing against other users and not the house. You can often get better lines than traditional books. You can set your own lines, which gives you control most sportsbooks just don't offer. There are no commissions or hidden fees, seriously. It uses a coin deposit system, but it is real money. And you can use code DAILYJUICE for 50% off your first coin purchase up to $25. Check it out now at bettingpros.com/juice. That's bettingpros.com/juice.
Now for the Tour Championship odds. All odds are courtesy of DraftKings as of Monday afternoon. Scottie Scheffler installed as the overwhelming favorite at plus 150. With a 30-man field, these are the shortest odds we've seen in a season full of short odds for Scottie. Rory McIlroy is plus 800. Tommy Fleetwood is plus 1,400. Ludvig Aberg is plus 1,600. Russell Henley is plus 2,000. Justin Thomas and Patrick Cantlay are plus 2,200. JJ Spawn is plus 2,500. And at plus 2,800 are Collin Morikawa, Cameron Young, Viktor Hovland, and Sam Burns. Dare we bet Scottie at plus 150, Bo? And if not, where does your betting card begin?
You're going to hear a lot of things that very seldom come out of my mouth this week. Yes, I'm betting Scottie Scheffler. 30-man field. He's on a dominant run. This golf course is as gettable for him as anybody else. This is a picture perfect golf course for Scottie Scheffler's game, with his accuracy off the tee, his ball striking in general, and with the newfound putting stroke that's been lights out this year. Getting plus money on Scottie Scheffler in this exact case is good enough for me. I was able to snatch him at plus 180, plus 150 still fine. Positive odds for Scottie Scheffler in a 30-man event on a golf course that was made for him to win. I got to do it. It's not much. There's not much juice in the squeeze, but it is going to be probably a pretty good squeeze.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he's been in fine late season form. Obviously, won the Open Championship, won the BMW Championship. In between those two events, finished
He's
third.
just making it look so easy.
He really is. He really is. He has never been the low man at the Tour Championship if you set aside starting strokes, but he was second in 2022, third last year.
He didn't have to be. That was the thing, is the strategy changes without that buffer. He probably played a little bit more conservatively to gauge where the field was going to come back to him.
Very true. Good points. So Rory McIlroy won here in 2022, and he's been top 14 in each of the last 4 years. Rory has finished 12th or better in each of his last 4 events, but I don't know, Bo. Great season for Rory, but it seems like maybe the tank is a little low at this point in the season.
Yeah, what he showed last week was very concerning. Not for Ryder Cup or anything. I still think Europe completely smashes the U.S. in the Ryder Cup next month. But as far as the rest of these singles golf tournaments, I think Rory's pretty much checked out. I think once he got his green jacket, he was mostly checked out. And now watching what he did at the BMW last week, Rory is already on vacation time. And honestly, I don't think he beats Scottie at this golf course. I thought he might beat him last week. He wasn't even close. It was just the mental game is already checked out. The physical game, not far behind. I cannot endorse a Rory bet this week, even though I really love watching him play. Honestly, this is the first time in 2 or 3 years I'm going to tell you to bet on Tommy Fleetwood to win.
Really?
It's gonna take a 30-man field on a perfect, again, a golf course that rewards accuracy off the tee, check, and a really strong approach game. And with the way he's been rolling the ball, his putting on Bermuda is 6th in this field, which is a lot stronger than I expected. And it seems like he scrambles well. Obviously, he avoids bogeys very well. He's number 1 in this field in strokes gained par 4, and that's the number 1 metric I measured for in this par 70. The par 4s at East Lake are pretty much brutal. The par 4s at this golf course are nasty, and so I'm looking for guys who can ride that wave, make the birdies where they're presented. And he's not exactly a birdie maker, but he's a quintessential grinder, and the approach game is 11th in this field, putting on Bermuda 6th. That's more than I needed to see for Tommy Fleetwood to get my bet at plus 1,400 right now. That's as good as I want to pay up for him. But this is the one time where I can actually see him winning, because there's only so many guys that have the game to match up. And he's been top 5 just about every week.
Yeah, Fleetwood has finished top 5 in 3 of his last 5 events, including each of the last 2. And he's played pretty well at East Lake the last 2 years. Yeah, Bo, I figured you wouldn't be betting him to win, but I was curious if you might have had any interest in betting him for a top 5 at plus 190. But
hey,
Tommy to win.
yes, and yes, and dare I say, go with the latter if you feel a little frisky for Tommy Ladd. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great for his first ever PGA Tour win to be the big one?
That would be triumphant for Tommy, and that would be a feel-good win for sure.
I don't think he's hurting for money, though.
Probably not. Probably not. He's still making some nice checks, even if he's not catching the big winner's check. What about Ludvig Aberg? He's finished top 10 in 3 of his last 4 events, and actually had a chance to finish top 5 at the BMW last week, but closed with a bogey and double bogey on Sunday, wound up in a 3-way tie for 7th. He was 19 out of 30 in the Tour Championship last year, not counting starting strokes. Do we think he could break through?
He could. I just don't think it's likely. His once illustrious approach game has kind of fallen by the wayside, and he's never been a good scrambler, which will be required on this golf course, especially if you miss fairways here. Oberg's really good off the tee in general. He's just been off this year. Since the start of the year, that we've heard of swing changes or short game approach that he tried to change and made it even worse. He's finally starting to kind of break out of a funk, but just isn't his kind of course. This is a course that's going to require precision that he hasn't had in months, and a scrambling game that he hasn't showed in his entire career. So I can't do Ludvig this week as much as I like him.
You used the S word, Bo, scrambling, and just as I was about to bring up our friend Viktor Hovland, so not exactly the most proficient scrambler on tour, but Hovland was low man here at East Lake 2 years ago. Had the 8th best score at the Tour Championship last year, 4th best back in 2021. We know he has the ball striking. No interest in betting him to win this year, though?
I'm more likely to bet on Viktor than Ludvig. Ironically, they are number 29 and 30 out of 30 in scrambling. But Viktor Hovland's good drives gained 10th, birdies are better 3rd, approach 10th, proximity on approach 3rd. He's got the ball striking, and Ludvig traditionally has the ball striking, but this year it hasn't been there. So I'm much more into Viktor Hovland this week because of course history. Honestly, it's going to be a little bit farther down where I go for my next two guys.
Now, Bo, you know I'm betting Russell Henley on a venue that has Bermuda greens. It's just automatic. Henley's a Bermuda specialist. He's logged 6 straight top 20s dating back to the Memorial in early June, and he has fared well at this course. He had the 4th best score at East Lake last year. Let me ask you about two guys, sort of horses for courses, for this course anyway. Not counting starting strokes, Justin Thomas has been 4th, 5th, and 7th in his last 3 trips to East Lake. The thing is, he hasn't recorded a top 20 since June, and he's obviously struggled with his accuracy off the tee this year.
Yes. It's a little scary, but again, this is another great Bermuda player. Like everybody thinks of Russell Henley, but Justin Thomas, number 1 in birdies on Bermuda, 3rd in strokes gained par 4, top 10 in all the approach and putting metrics. Again, the only thing that kind of just takes you off of him is the off the tee game. Good drives gained. He's 26 out of 30 in this field. So if he can somehow find these fairways, he's a green light. He's 8th in my model, really solid. And another guy who's even higher in my model that I think you're about to tell me about is can Collin Morikawa make enough putts at East Lake? Because other than putting, this guy is lights out at East Lake. He's 29th in putting on Bermuda. He's top 10 in every single other stat.
Yep, best score in the field last year if you exclude the starting strokes, and he was 4th best in 2023. He definitely loves this place, Bo. It's just whether he can roll in enough putts. That's it. And he hasn't.
He's the accurate player that we're looking for.
Has not been in great form lately, but this seems like the kind of track that could get him back on the right track. All right, so let's just run through the odds for the rest of the field since there are only 30 players. Sepp Straka and Robert MacIntyre are plus 3,000. Ben Griffin is plus 3,500. At plus 4,000 are Keegan Bradley, Hideki Matsuyama, Harris English, Corey Connors, and Maverick McNeely. Harry Hall and Chris Gotterup are plus 4,500. Justin Rose is plus 5,000. Akshay Bhatia is plus 5,500. Brian Harman and Shane Lowry are plus 6,500. Sungjae Im is plus 7,500. Nick Taylor is 80-1. Jacob Bridgman 100-1, and Andrew Novak 110-1. Who, if anyone, do you like from this group?
Well, it's quite a big group you just mentioned there, the whole rest of the field. In the mid-range there, I do like Sepp Straka. I don't think I've ever gotten Sepp Straka correct. Every time I tout him, he misses the cut. There's no cut this week. Every time I think he's going to win, he does terrible. And every time I think he's not a good fit for the course, he lights it up. Well, he's number 3 in my model. He's playing great this year. He's in the top 15 in every single category that I did, especially number 1 in greens and regulation gains. So his approach game is locked in. Number 2 in birdies or better. Number 5 in bogey avoidance. 4th in accuracy off the tee. Sepp Straka at those odds, 30-1. Fantastic. That's a really nice number for me. And then I also like Ben Griffin at 35-1. Ben Griffin coming in, another guy who is as solid as it gets across the board. Fourth in scrambling, fourth in strokes gained par four, fifth in putting on Bermuda. That surprised me. I know he's got a great short game, but the putting on Bermuda really surprised me with Ben Griffin. And for a guy who started his Sunday round at the BMW with a triple, a double, and then a bogey, he was 6 over through 3 holes on his round, still pulled that round together. It finished under par on Sunday after that start. That means this guy is absolutely dialed. Apparently he overdosed on creatine somehow and was all jittery and flustered and flush. I mean, when you fill your body with fluid, probably not easy to putt like that. But Ben Griffin has the game. He has the accuracy in the short game to make it happen here. That's a really nice number, 35-1 for a guy with that quality of game this season. I really like that. And my last long shot, not that long, 60-1. I couldn't believe it. Shane Lowry is 60-1. Sign me up.
Wow, you think he can, I guess like Morikawa, same question, do enough with the flat stick to make it happen?
These are guys that are in the same kind of, I think they're in the same tier of golfer at this point, and it just for me it's the value. I could pay up for Morikawa, who's at much shorter odds, but I get the same golfer in Shane Lowry at 60-1. That for me, that's a no-brainer. It's a guy who's straight off the tee, really good on approaches, especially in distance buckets, and he catches a hot putter more often than Morikawa does. And of course, a great short game that absolutely beats Morikawa around the greens. So Shane Lowry for me at 60-1 is the craziest number I've seen.
Yeah. Ben Griffin, I was just looking at his numbers from this season, marveling at the year he's had. 2 wins,
Great.
1 second, 9 top 10s, 14 top 25s in 27 events.
Underappreciated guy who plays max fly golf balls.
Yep. Oh, Max Fly. Yeah, he absolutely needs to be on the Ryder Cup team without question.
I think he's going to make it.
Yeah. Speaking of the Ryder Cup team, what a great story it would be if Ryder Cup captain Keegan Bradley was able to contend this week. But
Absolutely.
after a strong season, though, Bo, Keegan has fallen off a bit lately. I know there's a lot on his plate these days with the Ryder Cup coming up, and he was 4th to last at East Lake last year, not counting the starting stroke. So probably not worth an investment. What about Robert McIntyre? Obviously didn't play well Sunday at the BMW, but he's had a really nice season and he's contended in some big events. Second in the US Open, where JJ Spahn's miracle birdie putt on the final hole beat him. Second at the BMW. Like, I don't hate a 30-1 price on Bobby McIntyre.
Yeah, I was kind of on the fence with Bobby. I kind of flipped the coin, or I didn't really flip a coin. I liked the value on the two guys I got in that range a little bit better. With Sepp Straka, especially with the accuracy off the tee. That's the one thing I'm worried about with Bob McIntyre is good drives gained. He's 27th out of 30. Tee to green, he's 24th out of 30, and that's including great approach. His approach is great. His putting is red hot. He's a really good player. I just think that there's not going to be as much forgiveness off the tee accuracy wise finding these fairways as there was last week. McIntyre was in a lot of green light positions on approach last week, and those are probably not going to be there in the same frequency at East Lake.
All right, 2 more guys to ask you about before we move on to the early betting cards. Any interest in either Harris English or Justin Rose? 2 gamers who kind of have a knack for showing up in big events, at least this year.
Yeah, Rose is kind of middle of the pack for me. He's been more consistent than English this year. English has just been kind of flying under the radar with a bunch of top 20s and top 30s. He's somehow an automatic qualifier for the Ryder Cup for Team USA. I have no idea how. He just accumulated tons of points by happenstance. I have no idea because he's 27th in my model, with the only redeeming quality being good off the tee and accurate off the tee. The rest of his numbers are atrocious on Bermuda courses. When they filter it for courses under in that 7,400 yard range. He's even worse. He's 29th. I honestly have no clue how Harris English is an automatic Ryder Cup qualifier, but I'm not going to be betting on him this week. I will take a look at Justin Rose because his odds are so sweet, and he's having a more solid season. I just worry about his scrambling's surprisingly bad. Justin Rose, for as savvy and as wily as he is as the veteran on tour, not getting around the greens quite well, and his putting is streaky.
Yeah, 50-1, he would have to get hot with the ball striking as he
For
was
sure.
a couple weeks ago at the FedEx St. Jude. All right, Bo, early betting cards. Who's on yours?
Some guy named Scottie Scheffler plus 180 is what I got him at. Even if he's a little shorter, if you get positive odds this week on Scottie, I'm endorsing it. I'm gonna go against every inclination I've ever had about Tommy Fleetwood, and I think he gets it done. 14-1 in a 30-man field. That's a great value for a guy who is as good of a fit for this golf course as Scottie Scheffler. Just doesn't have the talent, really. I think he can still do it on a 4-day basis. I have Sepp Straka at 30-1. Ben Griffin at 35, and Shane Lowry at 60-1.
I love this, that you are bucking convention in our final show of the year, Bo, by betting Scottie before the tournament, betting Tommy Fleetwood to win. If you were betting Brian Harman this week, we would have the trifecta completed. So,
I did look at that because I had some self-awareness there. Unfortunately, Brian Harman is awful, and I will not bet him.
Yeah, some things will never change.
No.
Me, the betting card starts with Russell Henley at 21. I'm also going to throw some money on Viktor Hovland at 28-1. And right now, the only other bet I have is on Justin Rose at 50-1. Oop, I take that back. I am betting Tommy Fleetwood for a top 5 at plus 190. So, if
take it to the bank. Take it to the bank, Pat.
I'm not going to feel quite as good as you if he wins, but, yeah. I'll make a little something off it. All right, we wrapped up our one and done competition last week. Bo had Collin Morikawa. He finished 33rd, tied for 33rd, good for $119,000. $119,666.67.
That sounds like a revolving decimal there.
Yes, sir. I had Ludvig Aberg. He tied for 7th, earning me $645,000. I made up some big ground on Bo, but it wasn't enough. Bo finishes the season with just over 8.9 million. I finished with just over 8.5 million. Bo McBrayer avenges last season's loss when I beat him in the cheesiest way possible.
Mickey Mouse loss.
Saving Scottie Scheffler for the Tour Championship and banking $10 million with the victory, and hence why we ended.
I had a massive lead last year, too.
It was a massive lead. Yes, that's why we decided to end the one and done with the BMW Championship. And so that's all for the Betting Pros PGA podcast in 2025. We want to thank all of you for spending time with us this season. Hopefully you tailed us and faded us at the right times. Bo, you are leaving me. You made a bunch of great calls in our 2 seasons doing this show together. We've had a lot of fun. Thank you for being such a great tag team partner. And I hope we'll get to work together again sometime down the road.
Yeah, the pleasure's been all mine, Pat. Honestly, it's been a lot of fun.
And the Betting Pros PGA podcast will return in early 2026. I will be back with a new partner, and we will be previewing the Sentry in Hawaii. Until then, so long, everyone.